Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Nicolin, and today I'm going to be talking about a special part of me. And this is really challenging, so I'm going to try my best to push through and get this done as quickly as possible. So I'm wearing a special shirt today. And it says, "Part of my heart is with my angel in heaven, my son." So I'm going to share with you a story, my story about my son Elijah. So I had a son in 2019, and we were very much overjoyed, to know that he was here. I was pregnant with him, and all of that came to a halt around, I think I was about 13 weeks when we had to do that special test, especially for, they do several different tests if you are over 35. And it was around that time that we did all the tests that the doctors recommended, just, normal protocol. And I remember I was at work, and at that time I was seeing a doctor at Mercy Hospital. I don't remember the name of the hospital, but she called me and she said, "Nicolin, I need to speak with you and your husband." And I said, "What's going on?" She said to me that the results came back and there's a problem. I said, "What happened?" She said, "I can't talk with you over the phone, but it's not good." And at this point, I got very nervous, but still thinking positively until I sat down. My husband also, and we went and we sat down in her office and we got the news. We were told that Elijah was most likely not going to make it because he has this, I forgot exactly what the name is, that, he has an extra chromosome. And she mentioned that this is no fault of yours. This is no fault of your husband's. It's just what happens, something that can happen when the cells are splitting. And for him, he has an extra chromosome. And so I said to her, "What does that mean?" At this point, to be honest, we didn't know if it was a boy or a girl, to be honest. But we said to her, "What does that really mean?" She was saying to us that the pregnancy will not be vital, that babies who are born with extra chromosomes do not live, mainly sometimes past 2 months. And her suggestion was for us to abort. And I said, "Well, that's not going to happen." And she began to say, even if he made it full term, his chance of life is going to be very hard. he will not be able to walk or maybe talk, and he would need long-term care all around. But I held on to my faith in God because at that point we asked, what the sex was, and she did say it's a boy. And I said, you know what? We will get through this because he's ours, and it doesn't matter what. He's going to be ours. So we left there and we came home. And of course, we were very sad, but we're still hoping for the best. We began to pray that God would move mightily in his life. We began to pray for a miracle, like you would for anything else, and even more. And so I continued with my baby, continued with every appointment, and continued to hear the same thing. Every time I went to the doctor's appointments, the doctor would say to me, well, he's alive, but, he's growing, but, and it's like a constant reminder that they're telling us, like, he may not make it. He's not vital. And I said, as long as he has breath, as long as he is breathing, as long as I'm hearing his heartbeat, I am going to carry this baby. And every time I went, I heard a heartbeat. So those doctors practically annoyed me to the point where I just switched, because a person going through a situation like this need as much comfort and support as possible. We don't need the constant reminder of what may happen. It's not that we didn't hear it the first time, right? So I switched hospitals and I went to Winthrop. And since then, at that point when I went to Winthrop, I was a little under 3 months, I believe, or maybe about 3. I don't fully remember, or maybe more. But the staff really took good care of me. The diagnosis was confirmed that, he had trisomy 18. But what happened is, it's just the way in which they communicated with me, and my husband. And we still was praying and hoping that something would turn around. So we continue working, continue hoping and praying. So I'm gonna fast forward a bit. I remembered it was a few weeks before I knew that he had passed, and I was at work and I couldn't walk properly because it felt as if he was sitting on my sciatic nerve. And my coworkers literally crutched me up and took me, outside. And I sat in the car as they waited there. They called my husband, were like, listen, Miss Harris is not feeling well. We're here. So I sat there and they waited with me. God bless them. Until I said I was feeling okay. At that time, I did not know. Because I was in the doctor's office every week, sometimes twice a week. And it became so stressful and emotional. And I remembered I was supposed to go in 1 week, and I said, I am so overwhelmed. I am so drained that I don't think I can make it. And I didn't go in that week. I had an appointment the following week, and that's when I went. So when I went into the doctor's office, I'm there, you know, because at that appointment, I'm supposed to talk about my birth plan. You know, I was scheduled for a VBAC, which is a vaginal after cesarean, and vaginal birth after cesarean. And at that time, we were going to talk about, you know, the day of, you know, delivery, because I was going to, you know, be brought in, because when you have a baby who's having challenges, they don't want you to go full term, because especially in my situation, it would have been harder for the child based on what the doctors told me. So I went in, and at this point I was seeing cardiologists, I was seeing other specialists, just to go through the process and to talk about what labor is going to be like, what I mean labor and delivery is going to be like, and just getting everybody prepared. We had the whole team, because they knew that no matter what, I was not going to let go of my son. So but that we didn't get to go there, we didn't get to do our plan, because at this point I was 35 weeks or 34 weeks. And at that doctor's appointment, I laid there, and the doctor came in, and she put the Doppler over my stomach, and she was looking or listening for a heartbeat. And that's when she said that she went ahead and she called my actual doctor, because there's a team of people that work with me, but she called the doctor that mainly works with me, and she said, come and check. And my doctor came in, and she said, Nicolin, I am sorry to tell you this, but we're not getting any heartbeat, and your son is gone. At that time, I very shocked, because like I said, I held on to every hope. I believed by faith. I prayed earnestly. Others prayed that God would, if he had done nothing else in my life, this would be enough. And my boy was gone. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I may never understand it. But it's been a year, and it has been difficult, but manageable. I remember having to bury him two to 3 days after. And I remember when I was home, I think it was 3 or 4 days after, I don't fully recall, because I was still in the hospital recovering for a few days. And I remembered when we were, because he had a regular funeral, like gravesite and everything. And I remember before we left the hospital, I said they had a nice little bassinet, and I had brought clothes So they dressed him. They dressed him really well, as best as he was such a cute little boy, so handsome. And they dressed him, and I literally asked them to leave him right there, just so that we can have some time with him. And he was there with me for a few hours until I basically had to have them come and take him, because his skin had peeled from to me, he had passed about a week before actually knowing that, going to that appointment. And because of that, he was in my stomach, and I didn't realize that he wasn't. I had a rough night. I couldn't sleep, and I didn't realize that something had really happened because I was still feeling movements. So I concluded that he was just moving around, and he was okay, but he wasn't. He wasn't okay. He wasn't okay. So I called up some funeral homes, and my husband as well. We called up some places, and some places were referred, and in our area and where we live, we called the person, and we scheduled the funeral. And we went to the funeral home and the burial ground, and we buried him. And we said our goodbyes. At this point, my daughters, we told them eventually, they were at the funeral, but we didn't have them come to the hospital to see him because it would have been too traumatic for them. So they didn't see him, but they do talk about him still, especially my 4-year-old, as if he's still here. And we still get questions about him and why he's not here. So for me, I'm learning to go through life remembering his little flickers and his little kicks, and just the joy that he gave me while he was here, the time that we spent together. Even though it was a rough time, going back and forth to the doctors, he made me happy. He brought joy. And I would never know why God chose to take him. But he's in a better place. I still have my hospital bag that I have yet to empty out. That's gonna probably stay like this for a while, because why should I empty it? It's fine where it is. This is me holding on to him. I'm sorry. And this is his box of things that I have that I don't go through because it's too hard. It's too hard to go through all of that. I still have a drawer in my room with all his stuff that I had purchased, and we didn't purchase too many things because we wanted him to be here first, and because of all the things that we heard. But I have tons of bottles and baby stuff in the cupboard that it's for him, and he has a place here. He will forever have a place in our hearts. And the hardest part sometimes is, well, not the hardest, but one of the things I struggle with is whenever someone would say, how many children do you have? And I have to say 2. But in my heart, I know I have 3. And I miss him so much. I miss, whenever we think about him and think about the stage that he would be right now and how he would be creeping around or trying to walk at this point, or maybe even walking. I don't remember the stages right now, but I continue just to go through. And it has gotten better with managing my emotions and finding better ways to channel those. So, if anyone is encountering anything like myself, I picked up hobbies to help me deal with things, and this channel is one of them, where I can share my story in hopes of helping someone else cope through what they're going through. And so these are some of the things, or that is something that has helped. Before that, I just started with stocks and, just finding a hobby that would help me to take my mind off of the hurt and the pain right now that I'm going through. So, yeah, I love my boy very, very much. And I miss him each and every day. And I just thank God that, he has given us the strength, and he continues to give myself, my family, and loved ones the strength to live life, knowing that he's not presently here with us. So thank you guys for watching. Please share with me if you have had any challenges or any loss that you have encountered, that and how you deal with it, how you handled it, because maybe something that you can share with me would be able to help me as well. I remember on his first birthday, I wanted to do a balloon release, but then I didn't. Mainly because I don't know how it would make my husband feel remembering that, or my girls feel remembering that. And I wanted to do it by myself, but I just never did it. And I have to celebrate him. We have not gone to his gravesite as yet, but that will come in time. And yes, so thank you guys so much for watching, and for your continued support. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.